I've got a call out. I have a verbal call. Okay. Good morning. As children, how many of you learned about the Great Wall of China? How many of you were taught the same boring facts and history about the basic structure of the wall? Alright, well today what I will give you, while I will give you some basic knowledge, I will be focusing on the side of the wall that you don't get to read about in the history books. By the end of my speech, I hope you will have learned a brief part of the history, but also some of the folklore about the wall and a little bit about what they don't tell you that I learned from my own personal visit and experiences on the wall. The Great Wall extends from Kansu in the west to the Yellow Sea in the north in the northern part of China. However, the total length is highly disputed. The numbers range from anywhere as short as 1,600 miles to as many as 3,000 miles. However, according to the most comprehensive survey, its actual length is over 5,000 miles. The wall has been built and restored over a period lasting over 2,000 years and over a series of dynasties and rulers in China's history. In fact, there are sections of the wall where two separate walls from separate dynasties can be seen running next to each other. Beginning in the 5th century BC, walls referred to as the Great Wall of China were built to serve as protection for warring states. Perhaps the most famous section of the wall that most of us learned about while we were in school was built under the first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang, in 220 to 260 BC. During the 5th century, China was divided into 5 warring states, all of which were at war with each other to gain control of the country. When Qin finally gained power in the 7th century, he ordered the destruction of all the walls prior to that time and the construction of a new wall surrounding his new territory. The early wall was built with little more than packed earth, and for that reason, very little of that wall actually remains today. During the 6th century, during the reign of the Ming Dynasty, the wall was rebuilt in order to keep nomadic tribes out of the country. The new wall was built out of stronger materials, including stone and bricks, like we see here, making it a much more difficult and intricate task to complete. Because of the work, like the extensive work done and the huge periods of history that the wall was constructed over, there's a wealth of folklore surrounding the Great Wall of China. Millions of slave and peasant workers helped to build the wall, and it is said that thousands of bodies perished and were actually built into the wall. And one legend of the wall actually is based around this idea and goes like this. During the Qin Dynasty, a man named Fan Qiliang, a Great Wall worker, escaped from the construction site and stumbled into a garden where he met a beautiful woman. Now, of course, as in all fairy tales, the two fell in love and were married. Unfortunately for Fan Qi, he was captured and returned to the construction site where he spent months and months and months. So after waiting, Fan Qi's wife decided to go to the wall site and bring him warm winter clothes because she was so worried about her beloved husband. Well, when she arrived at the wall, she was met with the devastating news that her husband had died and had been built into the wall. His remains had been put there. So according to the legend, Fan Qi's wife cried for days and days and days, and her wailing eventually knocked down a huge portion of the wall and exposed the bones of many men. And so she, devastated as she was, needed to find her husband, and so she cut her fingers and dripped blood upon the bones of the men until her blood finally flowed into one. Convinced this was her husband, she buried his remains and then drowned herself. Now, many plays and operas have been written about this legend and are widespread throughout China. There's actually an entire section of the wall named after it, but I couldn't pronounce the name, so I decided not to put that in my speech. A modern legend about the wall is that it can be seen from space with a naked eye, but in actuality, no astronaut has ever proven this fact, and according to a study that I found, the width of the Great Wall from the moon is the same as that of a human hair viewed from 2 miles away, and to see the wall, it would require a eye vision greater, or 17,000 times better than the normal vision. Now, there's a lot that historians and books don't tell you about the Great Wall of China, and actually in the May of 2008, I was able to travel there. And I just wanted to let you know some things that they don't tell you. Now, the views from the wall are beautiful and captivating, but that's only if you can look past the merchants who will hound you repetitively while you're on there and will literally chase you down the wall. And also, as Americans, we believe, naturally, that everyone should speak English. However, when you go to the Great Wall of China, and also a lot of places in China, you will see botched English translations like, care about the cultural relic, no graffito, and no climb. And honestly, most of them don't even make any sense. There was one, I didn't actually put it on here. These are all my pictures from my visit, but one says, oh, I don't know that. Okay, well, one of them said, it was on a trash can, and it said, do not call in thunderstorm day, which I don't really know what that means. But in summation, I hope that you were able to learn about the history, folklore, and lesser-known facts about the Great Wall of China, from its construction in the beginning of the 5th century to its overcrowding of merchants today. While some of you may never reach the wall yourselves, I hope my speech was able to take you on a journey throughout history into the modern day wall.